and sometimes of a desperate search through the corridors of my home for a blue room in which I knew some horrible creature was trapped and scratching at the walls. A search which baffled me when I woke up, knowing that there was no such room at Lockwood. But after my mother and grandmother passed away, it no longer felt like a simple counting game, a trick to help my mind ease into sleep. It took on a new and frantic urgency. I could not sleep until my mind had completed a full tour of the house, and if I made a mistake, if I forgot the buttery or the bathroom on the second floor with its sink ripped out, or the housekeeper's bedroom with the narrow eaves, then everything was ruined, and I was compelled to start again from the very beginning, my heart rabbiting in my chest, my back prickling with sweat. Sometimes, though it was mad to think so, I felt that if I did not concentrate, if I did not count all the rooms and hold them all in my mind, everything that my mother had feared would occur, and more. That the very edges of the house would spin apart, that the walls would crack and crumble, that something truly terrible, something I could not even fathom, would happen. Lockwood had too many empty rooms. They sat there, hushed and gaping, waiting for my mind to fill them with horrors, spectres and shadows and strange creeping creatures. And sometimes what was already there was frightening enough. Empty chairs, the hulk of a hollow wardrobe, a painting that slid off the wall of its own accord and shattered on the floor, the billowing of a curtain in a stray gust of wind, a light bulb that flickered like a message from the beyond. Empty rooms hold the possibility of people lurking inside them, truants, intruders, spirits. And when there is enough space for one's mind to wander, one can imagine that loved ones are not dead, but only waiting in a room out of the way, a room you forgot you had. And the urge to search for them, to haunt the corridors and the rooms of your house until you find them, becomes overwhelming. But there was respite on the horizon, because the house would not be empty for long, and myself and my father and the servants, not that we had many by this stage, for we seemed to find them hard to keep, would soon have company. For it was August, and trucks were on their way from London, evacuees from the coming war looking for shelter within the walls of Lockwood. A population feathered, furred, beaked, hooved, ruffed, clawed, and taloned would soon lodge here. And when the rooms were occupied again, when they had a purpose and were full to bursting, my mind would settle again, and the house would settle again. No more empty, echoing rooms. No more bad nerves. No more ghosts. I was sure of it. Chapter 1. The mammals were being evacuated. The foxes went first, in their cabinet with dust underneath so thick it was almost fur. Next, the jaguar with his toothy snarl, the collection of stoats, their bodies lovingly twisted into rictus shapes by the original taxidermist. The platypus in his box, who was first believed a hoax because of the strangeness of his features. The mastodon skull with the nasal hollow that once caused it to be mistaken for the cyclops. And then the inky black panther, the melanistic Javan leopard that had been my favourite since I first saw him as a child visiting the museum. I had taken great care tying him up in sacking and rope so that he would not be disturbed on the trip north, stroked his broad nose as if to reassure us both. The animals and the fossils, the specimens of this fine natural history museum, were being dispersed across the country, each department bound for a different location to save them from the threat of German bombs in London. The mammals were being evacuated to Lockwood Manor, and I was accompanying them as assistant keeper, a position I had reached after a rapid series of promotions due to 2 senior male members of staff enlisting. I would be in charge there, the de facto director of my own small museum. It was a position I might have thought forever beyond me only a year ago, when I had made one of those stupid human mistakes that threaten to undo everything you've ever worked towards in one fell swoop. I had been in one of the workrooms under the museum galleries late one afternoon, copying some faded labels for a collection of rodents that had been amassed during the journeys of an